news is confirmed reporting by the Washington Post that the Clinton campaign and the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, helped fund that research that ultimately produced the now infamous Dossier on Donald Trump. According to a source familiar with the situation, the law firm Perkins Coie, which represented the Clinton campaign and the DNC, retained Fusion GPS in April of 2016 to conduct opposition research. Fusion then hired former British intelligence officer Christopher Steele to further the work that Fusion had already begun on behalf of a previous unknown Republican client to dig up stuff on Trump. Steele went on to produce a collection of raw intelligence reports that allege, among other things, that the president and his associates engaged in a well-developed conspiracy of cooperation with Russia during the 2016 election. The New York Times further reports that the Democratic attorney who retained Fusion GPS, Mark Elias, was not forthcoming about his involvement. Quote, early this year, Mr. Elias had denied he had possessed the dossier before the election. Maggie Haberman of the New York Times went further, saying, folks involved in funding this lied about it, and with sanctimony, for a year. President Trump seized on the news today to assert that Steele's findings in the dossier were made up.
I think it's very sad what they've done with this fake dossier. It was made up, and I understand they paid a tremendous amount of money, and Hillary Clinton always denied it. The Democrats always denied it. And now only because it's going to come out in a court case, they said, yes, they did it, they admitted it, and they're embarrassed by it.
I'm joined right now by Democratic Congresswoman Jackie Speier, who sits on the House Intelligence Committee, and by Glenn Thrush, White House correspondent with the New York Times and an MSNBC political analyst. You're both here. So let me go to the Congresswoman. I was, I guess, vaguely informed. People tell me that the Democrats, somebody had something to do with funding this dossier. The whole intel, the Oppo research that came up with all this on Trump, some of it raw, some of it useful, some of it not. Did you know the Democrats were behind paying for the dossier?
No, I didn't know that. In fact, we were first made aware.
Should they have told you? Should the Democrats have come clean on this months ago?
Well, you know, truly, Chris, it's op research. It's what any campaign engages in.
No, but should they have come clean during this massive investigation with all the focus on the Russian connection of Donald Trump? Why wouldn't the Democrats come out and say, okay, we paid for it, instead of letting it leak out now when it now brings into question the whole effort? Why weren't they clean? Why did they hide this? Why did Hillary Clinton hide this?
Well, I don't know that Hillary Clinton hid it, or was it just her attorney who was thinking of it in terms of well, maybe she thought of it, or her attorney thought of it as a attorney-client privilege.
No, the result, the product. You mean, oh, it was a privilege to keep secret the Democrats paid for Oppo on their opposition opponent, for their opponent in the campaign. They want to keep that secret. Even after this investigation began, they sat on it. I don't think it's in her book. How come everybody's... This is how you get in trouble in politics. You know, Jackie, I know you're a good Democrat, but can't you just come out and say, this is one... The Democrats blew it. They should have come out months ago and said, we paid for that damn document, but it's true. Just say it like that. We paid for it, but it's true. Instead of now saying, blah, 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 blah. You hear in the paper today, the Hillary Clinton campaign won't even respond to questions. That makes them still look really honest, doesn't it? Go ahead.